so we can modernize bridges and roads and highways that need it most, putting people to work in good paying jobs. Now, I know a lot of you watching at home are thinking that, well, if these jobs are for you, well, all you folks who feel left out as the economy is moving so rapidly, everything's changing, and you're wondering whether what you did before is going to be available to be done in the future. Well, let me tell you something. If you feel left out and forgotten in a rapidly changing economy, let me speak directly to you. Nearly 90% of all the infrastructure jobs that this is going to create won't require a college degree. 75% of them won't even require an associate's degree. These are jobs that can't be outsourced. Can't be outsourced. They just require something we've got in good supply here in Louisiana. Hard work, grit, and sweat, like the workers that are here today, and like all of the people you know and grew up with. American Jobs Plan is a blue-collar blueprint to rebuild America. A blue-collar blueprint to rebuild America, to supercharge our economy so we can move goods, get to work, become more competitive around the world. To shorten our commutes, to give us back a lost time to our families, to make our commutes safer, save lives. All told, the American Jobs Plan is going to modernize 20,000 miles of highways and roads. It will fix the nation's 10 most economically significant bridges that require replacement. They're just not safe anymore, which this bridge could be one of them. It repairs 10,000 bridges that desperately need to be upgraded. Bridges that get kids to school, people to market. And when you build better roads or extend the train line over to the next town or install reliable high-speed internet, it sparks new life and investment in communities. It gives people hope. Business picks up at the local convenience store, at the seafood market, at the hardware store, where centers of people's locus and their jobs and their economies. Better jobs start coming to town. You haven't seen that in a long time. Suddenly, young people don't have to make the decision whether they have to leave to have a better opportunity. They stay where they are. That's what infrastructure does. It has a rippling effect. And when we make all these investments, we're going to make sure of one thing, that we buy American. Now, I know I'm being accused when I say I'm only going to buy American as president, that somehow I'm going to violate trade agreements. No. Since the 1930s, a president could just decide to buy only American. It's just, I'm going to get to spend somewhere in the order of $600 billion this year, everything from building an aircraft carrier, new decks and all. And I guarantee you one thing, and I've set it in place. Every single thing, from the deck of an aircraft carrier to a railing in a new building, is going to be built by an American company, American workers, American supply chain, so that we invest American tax dollars in American workers. And that's what we're going to do. I promise you. Because right now that law has existed, but you're allowed to have exceptions. So what do? The last presidents come along and said, well, we have a little trouble making sure we can find somebody who is able to put the railings in this new building and the stairwells. Well, guess what? There's a whole hell of a lot of Americans to make that. So we're going to have a spot you just call the White House. We'll find you any company that makes those railings, for example, as one concrete example, rather than going abroad to purchase those. It's going to create jobs, it's going to generate economic growth. And look, this is all about making a choice between giving tax breaks to super wealthy and to corporations and investing in working families. We're going to build a country. I look at this as what I'm talking about is giving essentially tax breaks to hard-working, middle-class, and working people who built this country. In my view, it's an easy choice. Invest in workers wearing hard hats and doing the hard work of rebuilding the country, and put line workers, for example, to put line workers and electricians to work laying thousands of miles of transmission lines to build a modern energy grid, to put engineers and construction workers to work building modern roads and bridges, weatherizing homes and buildings, and setting new standards where they have to be built with better material and they have to be built to withstand heavy winds and hurricanes and the like, and withstand the impact of the changing weather. To put plumbers and pipe fitters to work, replacing 100% of the nation's lead pipes and service lines that are delivering poison water to our kids, and there are over 400,000 schools in America have lead pipes leading. 400,000. Yes, that's right. 400,000 have lead pipes going to the schools right now, and you have over 10 million homes where their water sources fed by lead pipes were laid years and years ago. We're going to rip it all up, and make it safe, all across America. And it's going to provide millions of jobs, thousands of jobs, and it's going to provide much more security. It's going to put plumbers and pipe fitters to work, replacing this, so every child in America can turn on a faucet and not worry about drinking polluted water. I'm going to be visiting the water plant in New Orleans today to get a closer look at what's needed to modernize the city's water system, because it needs modernization, and they need it repaired. Look, these are the highest values investments you can make as a nation, and they last the longest. Economists, left, right, and center, agree that these are investments we need to make to generate historic economic growth that's maintained, not just bringing jobs back, but creating new jobs. And together with the American Rescue Plan, the American Jobs Plan is going to help the economy create, as I said, estimated over 16 million good-paying jobs. And folks, we can't afford to not do it. We can't afford to not spend the time and effort and money.